What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Cleva's Multiverse. And here we go again. We're halfway through the year, and today officially marks the first day of the second half of the year. And honestly, at first, I wasn't even going to do a top 10 video because I was only thinking about Marvel. And not that they haven't been having a pretty good year, because they have been. But at the same time, this is not 2024. By this time in 2024, I was thoroughly confused as to what was going on and who was going to make my list. 2025 is hitting a little bit different, though. I don't really see 10 Marvel Legends that I'm really in love with. I'm not mad at the releases I've been seeing, but I've been able to push a lot of things to the side and leave them for somebody else, so that's not really going to help my list. But then I thought about it, and the reality of the situation is that Hasbro and Marvel are not the only superpowers anymore. A lot of other players have been stepping it up, and once I thought about it like that, then it all made sense. I do have a top 10 list, but I just have to add everything that I've been collecting for the past 6 months. So what are the rules? Well, the rules are pretty simple. The figure had to be released from January 1st through June 30th, and I have to have them in my collection. If I didn't pick them up, then I can't put them on the list. So with that being said, these are my top 10 figures of the year so far. Number 10 is going to Savage Land Professor X. Professor X dropping as a Target exclusive is something that I don't think any of us wanted to hear, but I do have to say, this Professor X was very much needed. I have a couple of professors in my collection. I have the older Toy Biz wheelchair version, and I have the newer yellow hoverchair professor, but I never really realized how undersized that professor was. Now, I grew up as an 80s baby, so the X-Men animated series was a big deal to me, and that's why I remember first seeing this costume. Professor X also isn't the most intimidating character there is, so the suit is cool, but the Savage Land jumpsuit is really where it's at for him. I think out of all the professors that have been released, including that Warlord X, this has to be the best one. The best part about him is that he's actually a full-size figure and he still fits in the hover chair with no problems. Professor X might not be the first character you think of, but he's definitely a staple in a majority of people's collections. Number 9 is going to Cyclops. Keeping it in the X-Men family, we just move up to number 9, and that's going to Cyclops. In my humble opinion, this is the only character that I placed on the list because of his accessory. Cyclops is cool, but let's be honest. He's pretty much a plain figure at the end of the day. What makes this figure pop is not only the optic blast effect, but also how it explodes in the end. That part right there has made so many displays come to life that I actually had to backtrack to get them. I actually had him in my hand, and I put him back on the shelf. It wasn't until I kept seeing toy photography pictures of him and seeing how he was being used in displays that made me double back to pick him up. The X Factor costume was cool, and putting that team together will be a bonus, but this figure is all about the energy effect, and honestly, this is the optic blast accessory that we should have been getting. The leader of the X-Men Blue team is taking the number 9 spot. Number 8, Maro. If you guys know about me, then you already know that I've been on my Marvel vs. Capcom wave way before Hasbro dropped their live stream. I have been trying to put together this roster as officially as I could with the characters that were already out, but this release right here changed the game. Seeing Maro come to life for her MVC costume was like a dream come true. And let's just remember really quick that when Maro came out, the Gamerverse double packs hadn't been announced yet. So in my head, I thought I was just getting the one figure. Come to find out, this was all part of the plan, but I didn't know it at the time. This is also most likely a one and done, and we're pretty much lucky to get her in the first place, so I doubt we'll ever see a reissue of this character. I can't say that I'm getting tired of her because I've never seen her done before, and the timing was everything for me. She was original, done right, and timed right. I wish I could have put her higher, but it is what it is. It's rare that I really appreciate when a figure comes out, but when it comes to Maro, I appreciate her. Number 7. Cammy, the first non-Marvel legend to ever make my list, and I'ma just be bold and say it. Cammy is one of the best female characters that I've come across in years. Female characters a lot of the time are disappointing to me. Yeah, we have some good ones that come around like She-Hulk or Warbird, but then we'll get like 10 more that can't stand up or the cape is way too heavy or whatever. We get them because we need them in our collections, but a lot of the times we all wish that they came out better. Cammy fits that description to me. It might be bold to say, but the last time I really liked the way that a female character came out was when I picked up Chun-Li. Cammy brought that feeling right back. And before we close on Cammy, I just want to say that I really like how Jada Toy stuck to the original costume and as game accurate as possible. I can't help but feel that if Hasbro would have had the Street Fighter license, they would have put Cammy in baggy gray sweatpants. And once they do that, now nobody wants it. Number 6, Guaou. everybody's favorite American. So between you and me, Guaou was the first Street Fighter figure that I was actually waiting on. A lot of y'all saw when I started my Street Fighter shelf about a year ago, and when I jumped on it, Street Fighter already had like 6 figures out. So I was able to get those really quick from Amazon, and it was in my house like in 2 or 3 days. Guaou was the first figure that I was actually anticipating and waiting on. Guaou was probably one of the only characters that I would get a Player 2 version of because I just love the blue that much, and I always did. This was also the figure that really made me look at Jada Toys different because I like everything about him, down to the dog tag and the chain. The sonic boom effect is popping, and the figure just feels right. It looks like Guaou. It feels like him, and he was actually worth the wait. I have him on the corner of my MVC section because I need him to be seen. In the game, I like Ryu, Ken, and then Guaou, but when it comes to the figures, it's Guaou, Ryu, and then Ken. Number 5, Shockwave, the first Transformer to ever make my list. This figure represents a lot of things at the same time to me. This version of Shockwave is like top tier to me, and when I saw him in the movie stepping down and cocking back that arm cannon, I was like, oh snap. They really reimagined him for what I was used to, but they did it in a way that now Shockwave looked grimy, like he was about that life. This was my first leader class Transformer of the year, I believe. The release date was January 2025, so he makes the list. And the only thing about this figure that I wish was different is the fact that I think he's a little bit light. I feel like he should be a little bit heavier for his size since he's a leader class, but it is what it is. The tank mode isn't my favorite, but this movie design right here is. I mean, look, don't hate me for this, but I kind of like this look better than his original. But like this, he looks more like a soldier and less like a scientist. His original version is like more academic to me. This is the version that's bringing the house down right here, though. So the first Transformer to ever make my list is Shockwave. Number 4, Blanca. I was really waiting on Blanca to see what was up with him and how he was going to come out. In my eyes, Jada Toys have been killing it and straight batting 1,000 since 2024. It's one thing to pull off a character like Ken or Ryu, but Blanca was a whole different challenge, and they really got this one right. He's dynamic and expressive, and he really has so much personality that you really don't have to pose him all crazy. Not to say that you can't flex him or nothing, because you can, but he's the type of character that just being there, he stands out. They could have really dropped the ball on his head sculpt too, but they nailed it. And for $30, this was the figure that told me that Jada isn't just doing good work. They trying to make iconic figures. There's no way you're going to see the Street Fighter section and Blanca doesn't stand out. Hitting the top 3 was Sagot. Jada Toys on the list was Sagot, and to be honest, I didn't think that they would make him for even longer. At first, I thought that they was probably going to run the whole line of original characters before they started dropping the new challenges. Like I thought I would have an E-Honda before Sagot, but nah, that's not how it went. Perfect too because Ryu's already out, so if you was doing straight Street Fighter, then you can make that happen in your setup already. A lot of us is out here trying to make our Marvel vs. Capcom shelves too, so this guy's pivotal. Honestly, a lot of people who aren't even thinking about him are about to start looking for him, so get ready for that. People just starting off the Street Fighter side are gonna want to start skipping characters. I can see people saving DJ or Lee for last and getting Sagat first. We couldn't do that in the beginning, and Sagat is the kind of character that starts making things kind of lopsided. Blanca too. But there's something about Sagat that just really makes him stand out. I don't know if it's his size or his scars or his storyline with Ryu, but he's a must-have for the shelf. Jada Toys made it to my top 3 with Sagat. At the number 2 spot, Megatronus. Now, this isn't just another Megatron repaint. This got a different energy right here. I love this figure, without a doubt. Every time I look at my Transformer section, my eyes go straight to him. The sculpt is heavy. It's super solid. It never feels like you're about to break anything. His tank mode and his robot mode are the truth. The flames are popping. He's Megatron's idol. Like, what's not to like? Even if you're not a Transformers fan, I feel like you have to give this figure his props. When I first bought him, I liked him, but more and more, he just keeps moving up on my shelves. When I was saying earlier that Shockwave was a little light and I thought that he should be heavier, this is what I was talking about. I felt like he should have had this kind of weight to him. The arm cannon is sick, and one of the best parts is that since I have the Megatron with the flame, I can slide that onto Megatronus and really make that arm cannon pop off. I mean, the arm cannon is diabolical already, but then when you add the flame, it really makes him pop. I already got the Studio Series Megatron on pre-order, but this is the figure that has my hopes high for Megatron. If they manage to make Megatron come out with the quality of Megatronus, then yeah, it's gonna be a good day to be a Transformers fan. And finally, at the number one spot, Silverbolt slash Superion. I never thought it would be a thing, and I would have never thought that it was possible, but nah. It's not even a Marvel legend. The number one spot for figures in my collection for the past 6 months is gonna have to go to Silverbolt slash Superion. And with this right here, Transformers have taken over my top two spots. Even bare bones, this is a dope figure. I'm starting another combiner set with the Constructicons, but this one really stands out because even though he's the third figure in the set, he can still rock out all by himself. At Silverbolt, he looks super dope. And then he got the whole battle station thing going on, way more than what your average figure or even diorama would have. But then, when you take all of that apart and you add it to him and start making him Superion, that's when he really starts shining. The Constructicons are 5 separate vehicles, and you need all 5 of them to make Devastator. But with Superion, you can start standing them up a little early, a little bare bones, but it'll start fitting on your shelf. And at $90, I'm not mad at all. This one right here definitely makes me feel like I got what I paid for, and then some, honestly. So yeah, that's what I'm rolling with for the first half of 2025. There's a lot of good figures coming out, but honestly, not a lot of them have been sticking with me long term. I'm seeing myself passing on a lot of things that have been coming out, and so far, I haven't really had any regrets. I look forward to seeing what the second half of 2025 brings with the releases and whatever else they want to bring to the table. And let's see if the list changes in 6 months. So what do you think about my picks? What are your top 10 picks so far? What do you think about a Transformer taking my number one spot? Let me know in the comments because I want to see what figures you think have been the best for the first half of this year. Until next time, peace.